Hello, one, hello, all. We're a day late, 10 minutes short, but we're here. Welcome to this June 11th through 13th edition of Show Business. I come to you, as always, as CP.
And from the horror show and in Fuego-tainment, hi, me and Fuego, what up?
Yo, and I'm Lindsey, and my 2 cents of nonsense, and I'm looking at the little cartoon version of myself right now, and it's adorable. What's up, little me?
Where?
Oh, the thumbnail. I forgot to tell you guys.
We're all pixar
go on it now.
Yeah.
Also, hi, my name is Chauncey K. Robinson. I of Twisted Woman CKR, and I gotta go on there.
Yeah, Chauncey. For some reason, it gave you blue eyes, and I don't think you have blue eyes, but your cartoon has blue eyes for some stupid reason.
Oh, it's from that app. Yeah, I tried that thing. It kept making me white.
Well, deep down inside, don't we all want to be? I mean, really?
No.
Start off icy tonight, guys.
I know that's from a movie, but I'm trying to remember where
it is.
It's from Chasing Amy, right?
Yeah.
Seen at the Comic-Con. Shoots him, and
oh, that is too cute.
It is. I'm gonna have to adjust it. We'll get your eyes brown. We'll get it done.
It's fine.
Okay, so we're gonna do a quick one this week, guys, because there's not really much on any front, to be honest with you. Essentially, we're sitting around waiting for Fast and the Furious to come out in America. Yeah. Otherwise, the weekend that was, A Quiet Place 2 just comes right back like the last 2 weeks didn't happen. First place with 12 million flat. The new HBO Max shared film, a musical, In the Heights, made 11.5. Again, that was box office and HBO Max. There's some news behind that. There's some backlash. I don't have the details, but maybe you guys do. Third place was The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, 10.3 million. Again, that is also splitting box office with HBO Max. HBO Max is just putting everything out this month, I guess. Coming in fourth was the newcomer this week, Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway, at 10.1 million. And fifth place was Cruella with 6.7. And I think officially you cannot watch Cruella on Disney anymore. If not now, it's this week. So that might get a little bit of a kick if people don't know how okay that movie is.
I saw it finally, actually, by the way.
Oh?
Yeah. I took my mom, and it was her first time back at the theaters, after all quarantine and everything like that.
So you don't like my uncle, is what you're telling me.
Well, I mean, it's not anything personal against your uncle. He owes me a couple bucks, and I'm kind of like, bro, at least pay up here if you want to be in my life or something like that.
My uncle does not pay; he does favors.
Yeah. But it was a weird experience. I honestly wonder if this was originally, and if we said this last time, I'm just repeating, I apologize, but was this always intended to be a Cruella script, or was it like Cloverfielded into being a Cruella script? Because it doesn't really feel all the 101 Dalmatian stuff feels so extraneous and so just like stapled on there after the fact.
This is the third week we've had some incarnation of that conversation. It feels Hellraiser-y, where it's just like, here, fuck it. Go ahead.
I like digging deep at the horror, man, because a lot of those later installments, they just did that retrofitting sort of thing. Although with this particular script, I just think it wasn't very good and borrowed itself from a lot of other things. I don't think this was meant to be anything else. It was just pick and choose here and there. And
it's just weird. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, why the 70s? Why have a 20-year gap between, if you're going to make this a prequel to the 1996 version, what the fuck happens for 16 years? Why do that? But
Pongo sits on that couch while Roger's and they're just lamenting about being bachelors for 16 years until Pongo stretches one day, goes for a walk, and 101 Dalmatians.
Fuego, Doug is congratulating you on the Phoenix's sweep, the Suns. Have they won the whole thing?
They haven't won the whole thing, but they
They're
swept
getting
Denver, and they're in the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 11 years. And
All right.
I know it's not shooty hoops talk or anything like that, but I was
that's
I was
tomorrow.
very happy. I was very happy.
So Felix is telling me in regards to the Lin-Manuel film, not enough Afro-Hispanic representation in the film.
Yeah, it's claims of colorism, I think, was what I saw as a headline, but I didn't get to really dive deep into it. And I still haven't watched it yet either. I tried putting it on last night when we decided we were going to reschedule, and I was like, holy smokes, it's like almost 2.5 hours. I don't know if I have time for this. But then again, Hamilton was hella long too. So, but then again, that was a stage play, so.
And after my 90 minutes, like in and out, like, can we go? I mean, I'm not saying every movie needs to be 90 minutes, but not every movie needs to be 2.5 hours. Either.
I think the Korean market has it really well. 2 hours. Every Korean movie is 2 hours. I don't know. 90 minutes is nice if it's light fare.
It depends on the movie, obviously.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the tone and the style, and like obviously, you can't.
Sure.
And some movies are cut down from 2.5 hours down
Sure.
to an hour and a half,
well,
and they're terrible because of it.
And you have something like Wolf of Wall Street, which was 3 hours, and I'm like, I can do another 2 if you need.
Right?
Just keep going.
So good.
It did not feel like 2.5 hours
Right.
at all.
That was 3. It was 3 hours that movie.
3? Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it all depends.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a musical about what?
It's about being. What is it? Brooklyn? It's Brooklyn, right? Or no, the Bronx. I think they're in the Bronx in New York, and it deals with this neighborhood and kind of like the people who are it's mainly Latino or Latinx, depending on Latino, because it's a whole thing of it's Latino, so Latino people and their neighborhood and things like that in New York, and it deals with a variety of things. One guy who wants to kind of get out, go somewhere else because he thinks life is better there, and there's different kind of storylines within that dealing with poverty and whatnot. And from what my understanding is, as was said about the whole lack of representation, was that one, I heard that there was an actual plot line actually cut from this one, from the stage version of it, that actually dealt with racism. And I think they cut that out from the actual movie version of it. Mm-hmm. And that, and it's something I've heard, other times when it comes to the representation of Latinos or Latinas in media, is that a lot of time there's this mentality that they're all light, and that they're all, that none of them look like Gina Torres or something, you know what I mean? Who is totally, would be badass in like anything that's like, that. And so they don't, it's kind of like Hollywood has this one look of what a Latino, what a Latino is supposed to look like. And a lot of time it just ignores the very detailed and intricate history of the Afro influence, especially with, Dominicans and others, that it's very, the Afro-Latinos exist. They're there. And, and there's Afro-Latino celebrities too, but a lot of times they get backed into having to just identify as, not just, but as Black, because, there's this weird kind of lack of that. And I think a lot of people online kind of took issue with that with In the Heights. I'm not the biggest fan of Lin. I'm not, I think he's okay. I think for me, I didn't care for Hamilton. And I remember seeing In the Heights like some time ago when it was first being like big on in Tonys and stuff like that. I don't know if it's my snobbery because I went to a performing arts academy in high school, and I also have a degree in drama, that I just don't like the music. And I'm just like, don't like that whole and it's just like, okay, this could be done okay. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it.
It takes me out of it when you're telling a story and then you're singing me dialogue, and it's just like, why are you just this is abnormal. Just tell me what you're doing. Don't sing it. I know you're buying a soda. Don't sing a song about it. Thank you.
I mean, I love when things drop out in like random bursts of song because I do love musicals and stuff.
Sure.
It's just, I didn't think the soundtrack of Hamilton and stuff was as like genius as everyone was calling it. To be honest, that was just my issue.
And that's something that I will chime in with really quick, because even though I haven't watched In the Heights, Lin-Manuel obviously has kind of a style about songwriting, and a lot of the songs in even the trailer of In the Heights, I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of like some melodies I heard in Hamilton. Not really distinguishing itself as
just
much.
Just borrowing from himself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, lots of bands do it too. So I mean, can't really hate that much on it, but.
As someone who's like a composer of his stuff, right? He is going to have a certain sound. Like Sondheim and stuff has a certain sound, and everything, in other increments doesn't have to sound like sunrise, sunset, South Pacific or whatever, But I mean, so I appreciate the freshness of it, but at times I do think it gets a little gimmicky with the whole the way he does it at times, especially the way he raps. Because it's just like someone who is a rap fan, I'm just like, all right, Broadway rap, I guess
Broadway rap,
yeah, so.
subgenre.
Yeah, I mean, from a stylistic standpoint, I mean, John Chu looks like he directed the hell out of that movie. I haven't seen Crazy Rich Asians, but I did see the second Catch Me If You.
No, G.I. Joe. It was G.I. Joe 2. Cobra Retaliates.
Okay, but then he also, but
didn't he do Now You Can't See Me too?
That's what it was. That's the one that I was trying to think of. Yeah, I mean, from a visual standpoint, he's a very talented director, and I know moving up the ranks and doing some pretty looking stuff. But yeah, it was just it was the music I found the most off-putting from the trailers, not the subject matter, not the direction or the cast or anything like that. It was that the song seemed a little uninspired.
Lindsey, can you get me the information on who's the money behind In the Heights? Who are the executive producers? Who are the distributors?
Yeah. And I wish I had more to contribute to this discussion, but I'm not a huge musical guy.
Nor am I. So. Well, I'm just intrigued because I have a theory, and I want to make sure there's some sort of merit to it.
This is the musical. Let's see if I can find the movie.
I'm assuming Lin-Manuel is an executive producer. There's no way he's not.
I think he might be a full-on producer and not just an EP, but I don't know for sure. So
producer Lin-Manuel Miranda. Do I have one other producer that I can give you right now? No. Distributed by Warner Brothers. Edited by Myron Kirsten. Give editors credit. The production company is 5000 Broadway Production and Barrio Gur Productions, Likely Story, and SGS Pictures.
Okay. All right. So.
A lot to go through.
so something like this, I'll just say it. Fuck it. I have good intention. Musicals speak to very dense parts of the country. Perhaps the coasts is one way to put it. I don't think people in Idaho give a frog's fat ass about musicals. That's just my opinion. If we're talking about financials, I don't know if something like this is what a studio like Warner Brothers wants to totally get behind. If they're simply trying to make $1 into $2.
You mean Within the Heights?
Yes, or any sort of musical. A lot of the country is. They want to watch Fast 9. There's a lot of light fare, should I say, that very straight and to the point. Things exploding.
I kind of view musicals as like some people's action movies. Like there's some way that some people like go Fast 9. It's like explosions, family, pow 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 pow.
Michael Bay.
Yeah. Other people really get into the songs and the choreography and stuff like that. Everyone has their poison.
I agree. I just think there's more Michael Bay than there is music. Is my point. And I'm going strictly on math. That's all I'm speaking about. I'm speaking from a business standpoint. I'm not speaking from a quality standpoint. I'm not speaking from a representation standpoint. I'm just saying if I'm big wig, I don't pay taxes.
Oh boy.
I need to make every last penny I can. What should I put $10 million into? I would probably go and put it into some dumb, explosion-y, simple thing you've seen 1,000 times before, rather than something unique and fresh and I mean, it's like you said, what was it? La La Land. Gorgeous movie. Everything technical about La La Land is incredible. Didn't make money. What was that? What was that, Fuego?
Oh, I was just chiming in. Damien's awesome. The director of that, who also did
Whiplash.
Damien
Incredible.
Chazelle. Yeah.
So
what I want to see is like a Michael Bay style action movie, but like not by Michael Bay, by Edgar Wright. So like the big fight numbers are like big song and dance numbers. So like two guys are like singing about how much they hate each other as they do like incredibly over the top choreographed like punches and kicks.
So you want an Edgar Wright movie? You just want an Edgar Wright movie, is what you're saying?
No, but like swing it even more so into the musical. I want like Baby Driver 2, but like
you beat me to it. I was just gonna say, what if the sequel to Baby Driver was a musical? I mean, it would make total sense. Elevate the craft a little,
right? Just go for it. Oh, go ahead.
So no, I was just gonna say to what CP was saying. I think it depends too, though, because one, you're like the whole thing of the coast, right? Like, yes, when it comes to like Broadway shows and things like that, it does actually have a very specific audience, which is usually older, white, well-off patrons. Like that's who goes there a lot of times, because that's who can usually afford Broadway.
Sure.
When I
like $100.
Yeah. When I was in high school, one of the first Broadway plays I saw was Aida. And that was through my school, because because I was in Northern Jersey. So we would take field trips to Broadway, and we'd get, we'd get tickets to Aida and other musicals, Lion King and stuff like that. But that was, inner city kids who happened to go to a performing arts academy. We got that privilege or whatever to do that we probably wouldn't have in any having the kind of seats we were able to get in a Broadway thing. So yeah, it can be very focused. But in that same sense, I feel like movies I think it's focused on that sense, and it can be feel narrow because of the people who had access to it. But we've seen that when certain aspects are put on the big screen, that it can have a very large effect on people. Some people don't like to admit it, but they might actually like musicals. You know what I mean? It may not be the thing to say, it's so easy for someone like, I got to see that latest Fast 9. Not everyone's going to be like, I can't wait to go see Moulin Rouge. But we know Moulin Rouge did well.
Really good movie. And
it's wonderful. My gosh.
I hate musicals. I love Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge is awesome. And it actually, when Moulin Rouge did so well, it like sparked the other one that didn't do so well, the Beatles inspired movie when they were trying to do
Across the Universe.
Across the universe. But it didn't do as well though. But so it sparked that trend because Hollywood goes with what they think makes the money, even if they won't blatantly go for it.
It's that viability CP mentioned, viability. Where can I find my return?
Yeah. So I think it can be found. I think it can be found in musicals. I just think it has to be the right kind. I would say to that extent, sometimes the original musicals don't do as well, but stuff like Moulin Rouge that brings in Madonna and all this other stuff in a reimagined way, people love that, and so I just think it's about how they market it. But I do think musicals can be just as appealing to it.
It's interesting because they I think it's Spielberg who's redoing West Side Story.
Yes.
So it got delayed a whole year. It's coming out this Christmas now.
That will be interesting to see how that does, because the longer we go on to this movie watching game, the more the rich white people that enjoy these very expensive Broadway plays, they start dying off. The landscape should kind of blend and differentiate a little bit. So it'll be interesting.
Well, they've died off before. It's just another generation. I mean, it's been kind of narrow for decades, so it's not. That's just kind of the culture around Broadway.
I got the estate.
Theaters.
I got the estate. I'm gonna go watch
Me
more.
Next, I'm going to Broadway because it's the sophisticated thing to do. It's like that, etiquette or whatnot. But I don't know. I think there's new ways of trying to get more people involved in it.
Eating caviar instead of popcorn. Savages.
Oh my God. This is like a butler behind the snack counter at the movie theater. Yes, sir. What may I get you?
Champagne? Large? Would you like to supersize it, sir?
And if they could just give us another Team America World Police, one of the greatest musicals of all time.
That is pretty good. That one's pretty good.
I did see their other musical, the Book of Mormon. That was pretty good. I really liked it.
I heard that was good.
I'm surprised they haven't made a movie yet of that. With as popular as it was on and off Broadway, the fact that they still haven't made that into a movie.
It's probably coming. I wouldn't be surprised.
My ex-wife wanted to see Rock of Ages like it was her fucking job.
I also enjoyed Rock of Ages.
It was okay. Like it felt a little hokey, a little popcorny.
They always have to make it spectacle, right? You got to hire faces. You can't just, a whole new thing that no one can get into, because you do have to sell it to the mainstream audience. But some people, they're something about seeing some of their faves. I mean, look at Mamma Mia. I mean, there's something about seeing people's faves, even when they can't sing Bronson, singing songs. And it's like, I guess.
I just remember thinking, the 80s, it wasn't always about fun music. There's, AIDS happened in the 80s, and there was a crack epidemic.
Rent. That's why we had Rent. Which
I
is
haven't seen
also
Rent.
A great movie. Oh my gosh, this beautiful movie.
Is it really? Yeah. Rosario Dawson's in that. Film.
Every time I watch it, I literally bawl. I cry so hard when I watch Rent.
Am I making that up? Rosario Dawson's in that?
Yeah, she was in the movie version.
The film
although they were on Broadway for years as well. And funny enough, Lynn is actually doing a movie musical for Netflix based off of the guy who did Rent's life, that will star the former Spider-Man, the one I didn't care for. But
Garfield.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield. So he's doing that. He's doing Tick, Tick, Boom, which was from the guy who did Rent as well, who died very young. The guy who did Rent, he actually died like the day that Rent was supposed to be getting a stage reading.
Oh, that's
he was finally getting his big break. 35 years old.
Damn.
But what he left behind was an amazing, amazing musical.
Dude, life is cruel, man.
Isn't it?
Cruel. Sean, €5. Thank you. Thoughts on No Way Home plot? Leaks. People criticize Spider-Man 3 for too many bad guys, which had 3. This has 10 from the sounds of it. Very excited.
I've been trying not to look at them because there's so many unconfirmed reports and
likewise
so much deniability. Like Garfield, who we were just talking about, he had that interview a few weeks ago where the person was pressing him over and over, and he'd obviously, if he's in it, he signed an NDA. He can't talk about it, and so
you got to talk to Tom Holland. He's the only one who slips.
Yeah.
I have a list here of the villains that have supposedly been confirmed, and I know some of these have been, they've been talking about Jamie Foxx for a while, and Kraven the Hunter, played by Kick-Ass, has been confirmed as well.
Yeah.
This list also includes
Taylor Lautner,
William Dafoe as the Green Goblin, which I'd be so down for. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock again, same, so down. Thomas Hayden Church as Sandman, sure. Reese Ifans, which I know I mispronounced as the lizard, and the other one, sorry. Michael Keaton as Vulture. Always love me some Keaton. The more Keaton, the better. Michael Mando as the Scorpion. He was a minor bad guy in the Spider-Man Homecoming, so he's coming back. Paul Giamatti as the Rhino. More Giamatti, the better. Then the last two, Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. Sure, why not? He was great. And this one seems really fake to me, but his best friend in these movies, Spider-Man's buddy.
Okay, Franco's in the doghouse. I don't think he's coming back, man. But hey,
right. Yeah, but his best buddy becoming the Hobgoblin. Like, I mean, maybe. We'll see.
Again, to be the accountant on the show, that's a lot of budget just on people. Yeah. Like, that's a lot of money you're spending on actors.
Yeah, that's like the Spider-Man equivalent of Endgame, practically.
Absolutely. Right? I mean, that sounds like at least an 80, 90, perhaps $100 million budget specifically on, well, unless they're doing like one-day shoots.
And that's what I would think. Maybe they're there on set for a day or two and like small little cameo maybe or something. Yeah. And they're trying to set up Sinister Six once again, which Drew Goddard was working on all those years ago before they rebooted with Tom Holland. So
I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard unless anybody else has anything to say. It's really hard to speak on something that is strictly rumor at this point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if they want to go for it, like go for it. It'll be a hot mess, and no one's gonna know who anyone is, and so many characters will get lost in the winds. But you know what? It'd feel like a Spider-Man episode of that old cartoon, like from the 90s.
This stuff worries me because this is what ruined Star Wars. I used, when what the fuck is the name of it? When the episode 7 came out, I was excited. I would look into news and stuff, and then leaks, and then ideas of who was supposed to come, and Rey was actually this person and that, and it like. Like subconsciously you're remembering some of this stuff, and then when it doesn't come to fruition you're like, I was really sold on that idea, and then it just ruins everything about just go enjoy the movie, forget everything that's going on before. Do you want to see another Spider-Man movie? Cool, go watch it. Don't get too involved in who's what and who's where. Take the surprise. If they're going to cast this many people for something like this, why would you want that surprise ruined? Like, you're robbing yourself of a genuinely great experience.
Well, I mean, there's people who like watching spoiler reviews before they see a movie, and I don't understand the mentality at all. But there's people out there who they do that. So
I can't help but think that it just affects how you're going to perceive the movie one way or another.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't care for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So, I mean, I don't know. It seems like a lot to be putting into one of his movies, but I guess the other ones did well enough.
Yeah.
So, I just don't think he's that eclectic. I don't think he's that, like, he's no Tobey Maguire, like, when it comes to, like, being a Spider-Man, And even Andrew did pretty well. I liked the first one. I didn't care that they used Gwen in it because I was just like, that's not the love story I want to see. But, I thought he was quite good at Spider-Man too. And there's just something about Tom that it never really clicked for me with him. Because I felt like he was playing that. It was like he was like playing a Robin, as opposed to a Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like when the whole dynamic they had with him and Tony, I'm like, this guy's a Robin. He's a Robin to a Batman, or lackluster Batman, because that's what Iron Man is. But like he's like a Robin to this guy, as opposed to who Spider-Man actually is. They really made him like very much the young kid type thing, and I think they did a disservice to the plot line of Spider-Man in that way. So I don't know. I just feel like throwing all this thing in the kitchen sink too just kind of makes me think it's going to be less and less of a quality story too, because when you have that much stuff you have to throw in of other characters, you kind of have to, unless they're like in blips and like the world is all, and there's like multiple verses coming in and you're just seeing people like we're saying, it's like, what kind of storyline are you going to really have?
It's congested. It's really congested.
Yeah, and that's something I fear too. Like that, as they mentioned, overstuffing the turkey kind of. That's what they did with Spider-Man 3, and they also did it with Amazing 2. So if they're going as all out crazy, end of a trilogy with this one, I mean, I don't know.
I've heard people complain that Dark Knight has too many villains. Dark Knight, with their 2 villains. So,
well, I mean, you still have the Scarecrow. You know, he appears in all 3 films. Albeit,
well, he's in jail in the second one. Oh, he's in the garage scene in the second.
Right.
It was kind of that was a waste to have. Like I don't know, it was kind of a waste to me to have Scarecrow.
It's
and
cute.
not really give him a lot to do.
It was like a fan film thing. Here, look, here he is. Go, bye.
Yeah.
DMZ Campbell, I believe that's New Zealand money.
It is. Yeah.
Thank you. CP
you.
just thought I would give you a donation to your channel since I got a notification you were live. Just watching you and Emily's commentary in the gate at the moment. Later. Oh, thank you, DMC. Appreciate it.
Thanks, bud.
Much appreciated.
Little Steven Dorff.
Yeah, what time is it? It's got to be what? Early. If it's New Zealand, it's got to be early.
Yeah, I think it's tomorrow, like tomorrow morning over there.
Yeah. What's it like in the future? So, some interesting news that Twitter won't shut the fuck up about, other than E3, Lindsey. Other than E3.
I'm not.
I was the one who mentioned it. Wasn't I the one?
Yeah.
Well,
off camera.
I just want to beat Lindsay to death about anything video games. That's all.
There's a new Metroid coming. I mean,
yeah.
So Netflix lost another show due to NBC. NBC canceled Netflix's #1 show, Manifest.
Oh.
And this kind of goes to what we were talking about earlier, that Netflix keeps dumping all types of shit into their platform. And then it seems they don't own too much of what they're showing.
not anymore. Not like they used to.
NBC's just like, yeah, no, you have a really good show. We're done. We're going to put it on Peacock now. Thanks.
That's the question. Like, because a lot of can Netflix keep going with their originals, or will they eventually kind of?
What are their originals? I thought this was an original, but apparently it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff they bring from overseas that other studios have rights to. I mean, originals for them. I know The Witcher is a big original for them. Everybody's excited about, obviously, Stranger Things. Scratching my head, trying to think of more. There's lots that they premiere and cancel too. I know Shadow and Bone just got renewed. I believe that is an original production of theirs.
Yep.
Watched a couple episodes. It was alright.
It's pretty silly, but honestly, I dug it. The first episode kind of made me laugh out loud with the fact that it just opens by calling the Asian chick Asian in a very racist way. Like within 30 seconds of opening, I'm like, oh, so that's the tone we're going for here. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
I don't know. It was fun. It was weird. It was goofy. It seemed to understand how goofy it was at times, and then other times it didn't. I don't know. It was a fun watch for a weekend.
I think Netflix needs to figure out what they need to do to survive, because everybody is doing a plus streaming service or whatever. They can't throw $50 million at a stand-up anymore. They if they're going to try to compete, if they're going to try to be the leading streaming service, they've got to have stuff of their own.
What are the most watched things on Netflix right now? I'm sorry.
It was this show. It was the #1 ranked show on Netflix. Manifest.
I know Sweet Tooth is very popular, and that is an original right now based on the Jeff Lemire comic. I started watching it, and it's very awesome. But it's of that kind of fantasy, whimsy, more family-friendly approach that I know Netflix likes from their original content. And I mean, Witcher's not that family-friendly, to be fair, but it is still kind of Game of Thrones light to a degree, in my estimation. So,
has anybody seen anything in the last week? We got a short one tonight. I'm just trying to fill the next 15-20 minutes or so.
Just
Loki.
Oh, that's right.
Show, though. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, at this stage, we're going to kind of have to start segueing into it because everything's on a streaming service now, so fuck it.
I was going to say about Netflix, it's interesting to me because I feel like, I don't know, part of me, I do think maybe their reign as the number one could be in trouble, although they had a huge influx of subscriptions when the pandemic, I think it was like 60 something million. And then that tapered off because more people are going off, but like they grew enormously during the pandemic. So like, you know, they did really well. And because they are still a streaming service that, you know, seems to be holding on to the idea of not trying to do the having commercials in between like others have, you know, I think there's something to be said for that in one regard. And because even HBO Max has made it so, you know, if you pay a little bit less, but you can't get the movies or something like that. I think Paramount also has that, and others. And I don't think Disney has that, though, because I guess they have Disney money, so they don't have to give you commercials.
Yeah.
But I wonder if part of it is not the media's kind of slant too, because media can slant things. I mean, we should know we're in media. People, it can be slanted. And I wonder how many of these reporters who are all like, you know, oh, Netflix better watch out. And the Peacock is coming. Peacock's not coming for Netflix. No offense. No. Girl 5 Eva is not going. I mean, it's good, but that's not going to overtake Netflix. You know what I mean? Or The Office or anything that Netflix used to have and didn't even need anymore. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to overtake it. Disney might, for people who are really, because Disney is Disney and it has such a big property, but Netflix is also opening up their own store soon, right? So they're going to start competing with Disney for their own products that people can buy based off of that they used to have in other stores. You know, like my boyfriend, he just recently bought a Cobra Kai shirt at the Universal thing, but now you're going to get to go to a Netflix store that has Cobra Kai shirts that are overpriced right then and there, you know? So, I just think some of it, we have to think like, is it like some of these other companies kind of paying for that slant in a way? Or, you know, some people feeling a little bit like, you know, they have a certain loyalty to certain entities. So they'll be like, oh, they got to watch out. Look what everything else that they're doing. Because, I mean, Netflix has been number one, but streaming, as we know, doesn't always seemingly make a profit, you know, in the sense, depending on how much you're spending on it. So who really is number one? How does that work? Well, like, are we going by money? Are we going by how much people watch it? Because if we're going by money, none of them are winning. Yeah, they're all losing money, probably.
The other part of the problem is that so many companies, while they have their, you know, their main platform, you know, they're dipping their toes in other pools. Like Hulu is a product of Disney, but you can watch HBO Max on Hulu, which HBO Max is Warner. Yeah. You can watch a Warner product on a Disney product, and to me that makes no fucking sense, but, you know, if you can make the extra dollar, my enemy is my friend as long as he pays me, I guess. It's very strange. Like,
and it's the same with Prime too, CP, and the fact that you can add Max and all of those other you know, sub-level sort of channels and just do them all through your Fire Stick and do them all through your Amazon Prime. So it's very strange, the kind of symbiotic nature that all of these streaming services have with each other. Because you would think, you're like, okay, NBC Universal, Peacock is their streaming service. Why is Friends on HBO Max and not on Peacock? That was an NBC show,
right? Yeah.
You know, and so that's where this migration process and the fact that they sign up for Windows to basically showcase this content, and then it ships. It's happened with a lot of stuff that Netflix has had for a while, and then you know, turn around a year or so, a few months later, and it's on Hulu or it's on Prime now, or it's on, you know, one of the however many other dozen we have streaming service wise. So
5 more years, everything's going to crumble, and Comcast is going to make everything cable again. It's just going to be cable.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's also looking at why some of these companies have their streaming service. Like, I don't think they all have the same goal, to be honest. No. Aside from the attention, maybe like with Prime, for example, like Fuego brought up, it's like Prime, their streaming service is more of an add-on. You know, it's like, oh, you got Prime membership? Cool. Like, here's movies and content, because what we really make our money off of is people buying stuff, you know? So we'll throw in the streaming stuff and we'll throw in a cool new show. So we might be getting an Emmy nomination or something, and it looks good on paper. It's not really our bottom dollar, right? So that's why they're able to do movies and kind of sort of promote them, and they don't come out as extensively because that's not their main cash cow, right?
Right.
And I feel like with Netflix, this is kind of their main cash cow. They don't have any other entities. That's why the subscription thing, I think, is something they tend to, try to emphasize on, although it's kind of like they're running out of people. But it's like, that's not necessarily a bad thing. They may just have to get to a point where it's like, we have so many subscribers, maybe we need to look at what we're producing and then not produce as much to overtake how many subscribers we have. And that way we turn a profit at some point. Disney, I don't know, maybe world domination might be their thing with like attention, because I don't think they really need the money necessarily. It may just be another way to get their properties out. So it's weird because the streaming thing, it's not very transparent. Like Netflix has been in the red for so long, yet so many other companies followed suit, which is a weird thing, right? You would think if other people are looking at another company's business model, even if they're super popular, but you find out they never really make that much money back, just enough to get by. Why then do you say that's what we got to get in now? You see that? We got to do that too. Yeah, it's like what?
Like CBS, when CBS did that All Access or whatever.
Yeah, it was like, why? Netflix isn't making money. Why does this seem like a good idea? And that's why I'm not sure. I'd be interested if they were more transparent about what they're actually trying to, get from out of it.
You feel like sitting in on the board meeting and being like, all right, you're CBS, you're one of, if not the oldest television channel since the inception of television. You get money from commercials. You don't need this. What are you doing?
Well, they have the commercial service, and they're also a Viacom company, and that's why they rebranded as Paramount Plus, because they have so many different feelers between MTV, between CBS, between all of those different channels. But, Chauncey kind of got me thinking just now with the Netflix thing. It's like, okay, Peacock, they obviously have Universal and NBC, so they have regular television revenue, they have theatrical revenue, they have home media revenue. The same goes for Paramount Plus. The same goes for HBO with their ties with Warner Brothers. Netflix doesn't really home release or theatrically release anything, so they don't have that other income coming in. So they are probably more dependent than any other streaming service on subscriptionship. And that's where maybe their model will eventually kind of go bust, because they don't have those other opportunities to bring in money to their entity.
They should have some sort of tiered service where like entry level is like vault access. Like if you want to watch old episodes of I Love Lucy, all right, $2.99 a month. We have like all we have to do is just load up the shit that we've done nothing to. It's sitting in a canister in the back. But like if you want to watch Star Trek Discovery or whatever the fuck the new thing is, then
or the horrible adaptation of The Stand.
Yeah.
I always gotta get that in there.
I cry.
Yeah, and it should be. I don't know. Television's weird. Like if Breaking Bad were out now, what would that? How much do you pay for that?
Well, I mean, you've got your AMC Premiere, which is their little streaming service, but it's really just an augmentary sort. It's like $5.99. It's an augmentary thing if you already have a cable subscription with them through somebody else. So,
Lindsey, you're quiet.
I've been doing some research over here.
There's a little echo.
Yeah, what is that? Who's got audio on? Headphone. Wait.
Hello?
Hi. Nope, still echo.
I think it's
Is it me?
Is it me? I have headphones on.
Wait. How'd that do?
Say stuff. Nope.
Talking, speaking.
Loud noises.
Mm-hmm.
Chauncey, is it you? Do you have the YouTube video on?
No, I don't have a YouTube video on.
I do have the YouTube video on because I was monitoring the chat, but let's see if I close it.
How about now?
Is that better?
Oh, hello. No,
Hello?
It's still there. What the fuck? All right. Well.
That's weird.
All right, everybody got 10 minutes to go.
I could try closing some windows because I do have a few others open.
It's all right.
Yeah, I'm just like being paranoid now, like making sure it's not me.
It's the government.
Oh, government. Well, I have the 10 most watched movies on Netflix in May 2021.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Number 10 is Home. Number 9 is Minions.
Oh,
Number 8 is a Netflix original, Oxygen.
that was a good movie.
Very good movie.
I heard that was very good. Number 7, I Am All Girls. Number 6,
Me
Penguins of Madagascar. 50 Shades of Grey in 5th place. Good for it, I suppose. Number 4 is Army of the Dead. Things Heard and Seen is number 3. Woman in the Window is number 2. And The Mitchells versus the Machines is number 1.
That's the animated one that Cecil told me is so fun, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
The what?
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, it's an animated one. I believe it's from the Cloudy with the Chainsaw Meatballs guys, maybe?
It looks like the same animation. Yeah, I could see that.
Mhm.
Or similar animation, anyway.
I enjoyed that Cloudy.
Yeah, that was Lord and Miller, right? I think.
I think so.
I think it was, yeah. Oh, now it's getting worse.
Yeah, it sounds louder on your end.
All right.
Yeah, because I was going to say maybe the echo is me since I'm not hearing an echo.
Maybe
Because if I'm
not.
not hearing it, maybe I'm responsible.
Weird.
Curiouser and curiouser, to quote
No.
Alice.
Sure.
It's just weird that it comes out of nowhere. Yeah, now it's really loud. What the fuck?
Are you doing crazy ventriloquism over there, Sneaky?
Maybe we should plug our blanket in.
Okay, so it's not CP because he turned the sound off.
Okay, let me mute.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, let me do the same.
Hello?
I'm still on.
Oh, now we're doing board brain.
We're in the Matrix.
Trying to find the mute button.
All right.
Stop mic cam, would that be
Okay,
it?
so it wasn't me because I muted.
Yeah.
Turn on that.
This is like a really weird Twilight Zone episode. Oh, all right, fine, Fuego. I don't give a shit. You leave. Oh, wait. There's no echo. Let it be known.
Yeah.
It was Fuego in the billiard room with the microphone.
More like Jaime and Echo.
And yes, y'all who are saying in the chat, I do believe Pato is previewing her OnlyFans, showing all this talent.
Oh yeah, you gotta charge for that. You can't start with the back. You gotta lead into that.
You know, Carl's Jr. has an OnlyFans.
Carl's Jr.?
Yeah, the food has OnlyFans now, and like they have people basically. Not that I didn't know this because I'm not on OnlyFans, but like someone else did a video of it, okay? And because they couldn't show the content, they like mimicked what Carl's Jr. did.
Is it their commercials with?
It's people like with
burgers just drenched all over their naked bodies?
Burgers and like them like having sauce on their hand and then doing like this with the sauce in their hand.
What
like
the fuck?
With the sauce. And people like when it comes to like the chicken and stuff, them putting their fingers in the chicken and everything. So yeah, people are paying for this for OnlyFans. So
I thought they were done with those sort of campaigns, man, because I still remember the burger commercials in the 90s, you know, where
Carl's
it was like,
Jr., yeah, that's their thing, you know. I mean, it kind of makes sense. It's a great evolution of Carl's Jr. because a lot of their commercials were always like over sexualized with the women, like scantily clad women eating
a burger and the
Uh-huh.
chip would drop right between her cleavage. It was like, guys, come on.
And they got a lot of criticism for it too, but they
not during the Super Bowl. They didn't when they
not.
fucking spend big bucks to show ketchup and tits.
I do remember that.
Yeah, because they had like Paris Hilton on one of those commercials too, didn't they?
Yeah, and her on the car and stuff.
Yeah,
even Kim Kardashian, even though she had a salad, but it was the salad and the lettuce. It's like,
oh, Christ.
Just like that.
I don't think she's got a lot of salads, man. I mean, I'm gonna be honest about it.
Okay, so I just used my Google account to make an OnlyFans.
Sure.
Oh my God!
Yes. It's a free OnlyFans, and there's a lady stroking a pickle. There's a very slow-mo
pickle.
What?
This is
dude. Well, they know their market, they know their brand, I guess.
If there's scar kink, I'll make my own OnlyFans. I have so many scars on my body.
There's so many kinks out there though, and like it's just like someone can make an OnlyFans. I mean, you know, I mean, feet, and people probably thought feet was like the most, and it's like probably lower of the bottom tier. It's probably because it's normal now, feet fetish, and now you have
Emily.
I heard about we were just watching a video about feeders, like, you know, people who like to feed their partner and like make them as big as possible.
What?
I've heard of this.
Yeah, it's like a feeder-feedy type relationship.
That's a 7 prequel. That's how.
And there's like videos coaching people up to it. Like, you know, like here's 8 ways to easily gain a whole bunch of weight in like a healthy kind of way type thing. And, you know, just be sure like and a healthy and cheap way. And it's just also like, you know, because just be, you know, when you go into the dating world, they already want you like this. So and it's like it seems like just another way to put some type of body like restrictions on someone, and just in the opposite direction in a way. But it was weird. I was like, oh, that's a thing. People like, there are people who really enjoy like feeding their partner to the point of getting them really like big, and they like, you know.
Can you imagine if sex didn't have the power it does? Like what society would be able to do right now if sex and money weren't such a heavy decider for so many different things. Oh, speaking of kinks, Emily used to do work. There was somebody that had special needs that they weren't able to completely see.
Oh no.
But so Emily had to do the work for him on his computer and stuff, and so she had to have access to his messages. And once a month, the guy was buying used sneakers from women.
To like sniff them?
Perhaps.
And put something else in
Perhaps that's it, but yeah.
It took me a second. I was like, what, he wants to wear them?
Well,
what else could he? I'm such a naive little boy.
So first off, they would tell him what kind of sneakers they want. He would buy them the sneakers, and he'd tell them, please jog, sweat, do whatever you can, just wear them out. And then he would get off on the stink inside the shoe, and
no, it's not stink; it's stank at that point.
And then he'd maybe put some of his own stink inside the shoe. But I heard that, and I was like, yeah, there's too much of everything in this world, way too much.
It's the thing of humans, right? Like I think there's this thing of, if we think about it, most people. The difference between humans is that we can make the decision on things. Like, we're not just totally driven necessarily only by like the other parts of the animal kingdom, which is like, sex, and then like being the biggest person, like being the baddest person in the jungle. But at the same time, we still are. Yeah. It's like, just like peacocks do the feather things, you got guys with like flashy cars and things like that. And what's it all for? Yeah. It's all for the purpose Pussy. Of looking like, yes, that too, but also looking like the king of the jungle and whatnot. Yeah. And same thing with women. It's like, it's we're not that far removed as much as we like to act like we are sometimes. Well, but I do think we also are the other group where we can make it unhealthy. You don't see bears and stuff having some type of shit fetish or something, in the woods, going up to each other's shit.
Yeah, well, you don't know that. You got it.
I don't think they do. But you have that. You have a shit fetish in these parts. It's like, it's weird.
I don't
want to get canceled. It's not weird. It's whatever you want to do. Live and let live.
I have an interesting. I'm rather fascinated with why sex is such a taboo in this country, because I spent a lot of time in Europe, and sex is not as big a deal, especially in Denmark, as it is here in the States. In Denmark, commercials for women's monthly needs show blood, because that's what happens and you know that's what you need that thing for. In America, we have blue liquid because you know all women bleed laundry detergent. There's just a bunch of different things that it seems like Europe is worried about way different things.
And
well, that's because we're repressed here. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Maria.
No, you're right. We're repressed. Like I think that's where the kink comes from because like we can't talk about any of this stuff. We got to like, I like to masturbate in a sock in the bathroom, but I can't tell anybody. So I'll just look online for other people that are like-minded. And, you know, if
or people doing sock puppetry, and that turns me on. Oh yeah,
it's not a hand in the sock.
I mean, you know, to connect it back, my boy right here, you know, there was a whole thing, right, where the showrunner for Harley Quinn pointed out.
I was going to ask you about this.
Pointed out that Warner Brothers told him, because he had a scene where Batman was going down on Catwoman, and that Warner Brothers told him that Batman could not do cunnilingus because he was a superhero, because he's a hero and heroes don't do that.
What?
It's okay to have the villains do all types of stuff like that, but they drew the line on Batman going down on Catwoman, which is so bizarre.
Wait, Catwoman's kind of an in-betweener though, isn't she?
No, on that show, it's more so Harley and Poison Ivy. All
right, so Poison Ivy.
Batwoman is up with Batman and with Batman. Catwoman is up with Batman. Yeah.
So Poison Ivy can toss Batman salad. That's fine.
Yes, because she's Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy because they're the villains, and yet somehow Batman can't be seen like that.
Yeah,
and it was just such a weird kind of
practices and standards are fucked.
Yeah, it's just a weird viewpoint.
Yeah, and it's also supremely insane because of the fact that, okay, he can have sex with his friend's daughter in The Killing Joke and that horrible that they added that wasn't even in the comic. And yet that's apparently totally fine, I guess. So
yeah,
he didn't go down on her. He just had regular.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You know, so
daddy issues, right?
I don't know anybody else, but I'm of the mindset if a kid learns about sex early, then so be it. I'd rather a kid learn about sex than death and murder.
But it's not just about that. It's like with movies in general, right? Like there are plenty of movies, like what is it, the MPAA or whatever it's called? Plenty of movies where a guy can be shown getting a blowjob, but have it so a woman is getting gone down on, and they go berserk on that. Mm-hmm. We saw that with what was it? It was like the one with Michelle Williams and I think Ryan Gosling. That indie movie they were in together, and
Valentine.
Blue Valentine.
Yeah, Blue Valentine. There's a scene where he's doing that. They had them cut that out because if they had kept that, they said they'd have to make it like rated because it's such a thing when it comes. Well, you know, at some point in time that wasn't too long ago, the idea of a woman orgasm was considered mythology.
Yeah,
you know, that didn't have those.
I still don't believe it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think of Will Ferrell and Jay and Silent Bob, where he's like,
it has been scientifically proven that women can and men can't. Okay, it's a myth that men can. Okay,
exactly. So you know, it shows up in our entertainment like that. The weird double standards, the repression, how we can show so much violence in our movies. You know, people can get decapitated. We can have so many explosions, so many people getting shot up. I mean, there's a gun everywhere in these movies.
Absolutely.
And yet, when it comes to healthy, versions of sex, it's, you know.
Is it a masculinity thing? Like, is Warner, because, you know, like there's DJ Khaled, who's like, first of all, an idiot, and so musical talented, whatever, but in his life, he's an idiot. He's all like, look, kings don't do that. And so I'm like, is this like Warner Brothers worried that like if Batman did that, he'd be emasculated?
Yeah, I don't.
Like, I think it is. I think there's a certain thought process that cunnilingus or whatever is associated with being dominated by the woman.
Stupid.
I mean, yeah, well, see, there's it seems like for as much as we progress, we're just constantly in need of refreshing, because you go back 15 years, they couldn't even maybe 20, 30 years, they couldn't even talk about AIDS. Now there's HIV medication that is being advertised on daily television. in Monster Squad, they call each other the gay F word, which today that's a giant no. So like, it just seems like we why does it take us so long, especially with just social things? Like, why is it so hard? You could still shoot up whatever the fuck you want, but when it comes to other things, we're just so stuck. Meanwhile,
and also, like, how do you deny, like, in reality, like, you have, like, a hot Jafar that the entire internet was exploding over when the Aladdin remake came out, and then, like, Thanos was thick daddy on the internet for how long? Like, sexify these characters a little bit, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Give me Batman that fucks.
Well, the other thing is, you have these movies in Japan where they don't show nearly as much as would be shown in America. But the work that they do is in ADR. They're making sure you hear slurping, and they in Japan, you can hear what's going on, and that you know what's happening because you can hear it. Mm-hmm. Why can't we at least get to? I don't know where this went.
By people that wear their belts on their hats, we're backwards and we don't know what we're doing, man.
Yeah, we're just so sexually repressed as an entertainment industry. Meanwhile, sex sells. So what the fuck?
But in the weirdest kind of ways too, right? Like if you even look at fashion magazines, for so long, a lot of times the woman was dismembered on there. Look at a lot of fashion magazines. A lot of time you have it so the woman's head is cut off, but her body is showing with the pocketbook or something like that. Yeah. Like that's not like that's a trend. That is a regular thing a lot of time where the woman is just kind of like dismembered. It's like that's not what's important. It's what she has on her body. It's how she's like formed and stuff like that. It's really, I mean, plenty of people have written so much about it, but I really do think it seeps into everything. It definitely seeps into our movies and our entertainment.
The objectification's a problem. It's a serious problem, and I don't think something like OnlyFans helps. Listen, if you want to tell me that there's a 50-50 split of guys to girls that are doing OnlyFans, and there's a ton of gay men, straight women flocking to see George the OnlyFans man, so be it. But I would sincerely doubt that's the case.
Yeah, they're not going to see Joe Sixpack as you would say, for sure. So
yeah, my scars 29 at OnlyFans. I don't have any followers, so
you might though. Yeah. Like you don't really have one yet, right?
Yes. What do you mean yes?
I'm saying though, you could, I mean, nothing is off the table with
not
things
at all.
like that.
If people will watch pimples get burst on.
Yes.
There are people into just about anything, man. I mean, my God. There was this girl when I was working at the hotel, and she was like maybe 20. She was the host in the little cafe restaurant, and I'm breaking down an event, and I walk in, and she's like at the desk watching pimple popping videos. And what is wrong with you?
Soothing.
I've heard this, but they gross me out, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes they're way too much. Other times it's weird. It's satisfying.
It is. I have my limit with it, but
I guess I'm wrong about this one. So.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you, Fuego.
I'm out. But like, if it's just like, oh, that's a big zit, and the fingers are coming in, like
it's a 50-50 split, Fuego.
And then there's also a member of my band. His significant other. She makes significant money with her feet. She has the same thing with shoes getting sent to her and everything like you guys were talking about. But then again, she never shows her face or anything like Chauncey was
at all.
Well, so no, not at all.
So it's just a random set of feet. Nobody knows what this person looks like.
They don't care what her face looks like.
Yeah, it's true though. Many of them don't, right? That's not what they don't care. They don't want to see these people as people. And it's very interesting because you are also seeing an influx of influencers who are getting OnlyFans. And it's kind of like, was the whole thing of some of the YouTube video just a precursor because you couldn't do the cam girl thing just yet, and now it's like, why not do the cam girl? But it's OnlyFans, so it's more like considered sophisticated.
There's a thin line between OnlyFans and cam girl. You're very close. There's very
I didn't
little.
think there was much of a difference from what I understand, because I've never really looked into either very much.
Well, cam girls can be one-on-one type stuff. I've had a friend who is a sex worker. She's a cam girl, and
do you still talk to her?
Yeah, she's pulled out now since she's had a kid, so that she hasn't done it in like over a year or so. But her main thing was cam girl. Like, she didn't do the whole meetup or anything like that. So, that's considered a sex worker, because she'd do it like
meetup.
Yeah. Well, that's the other form of sex work where you actually meet with the person. So, but cam girl is considered sex work, but it's through the camera, right? You can have a one-on-one. You do things like Tam, that movie, which was a great horror thriller if people want to watch it.
Yeah,
and that's very realistic what she was showing in that movie. And yeah, when I heard of OnlyFans, I'm like, this seems very similar to that. But then again, I even joked. I was like, well, talking heads on YouTube kind of do that. We just don't make it sexual, right? It's like I'm having this relationship with you as you watch me on television, and they can do that too, though, right? There, we see comment sections.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then there's people
what I mean? I could be doing nothing sexual, and someone's like, "Your mouth is so pretty," or something like that. Yeah. I'm like, "Yo, I am literally just talking about a movie, my dude."
Yeah.
So it's just, you know what I'm saying? So
and then there's also people like Bella Thorne. People like Bella Thorne who totally
destroyed it,
switched their people. And she's like, "Haha, give me all your money." And so.
So what if we just take this to the next level here? Naked movie reviews on OnlyFans, guys.
I'm not doing it.
I'm just pitching here, all right? I'm Ryan from Pitch Meeting right now, guys. You get all the way off my back about
But isn't that the next? It's weird because I saw an article like influencers who are joining OnlyFans. They're finally adding another thing. It's as though it's like, here's a more explicit version of Patreon or something. I'm like, no, it's kind of different. It's really I don't know.
Do we have an age range of these people that are strictly heavily into OnlyFans? Because I have a theory about it. And
18 to 98.
2 to 240.
As far as presenters, I would estimate 20-somethings. 20 and 30-somethings probably. As far as those who are presenting themselves and putting themselves.
No. I mean people subscribing and or watching.
I definitely think it's the older guys with money.
Really?
Sure.
Okay.
Who have expendable money.
Because I think there's something to it when you spend enough time with somebody. This goes back to my high school years. I can't tell you how many times I was in class and, I didn't think twice about a girl in class, the first 2 months. Well, all right. Well, I thought maybe 3 or 4 times. So, over the course of time, I just started noticing a girl in class and this is at sexual peak, mind you. Boys have the unfortunate disadvantage of going through puberty and your sexual peak at the same time. So over the course of a couple of months...
Sir, I haven't even begun to peak. Get out of here with that.
So over the course of time, I would think, she's cute. I wonder what she'd look like naked. And that's it. Not I want to fuck her or not. Anything remotely close to that. Just I wonder what she looks like under the clothes. That's all. Just something for the mental storage there, so I can carry about my day.
So this has officially become MTV Loveline, everybody.
Well, in other news, nothing entertainment.
Yeah. I know. I'm just teasing.
But yeah, of course. So I think this is a broader scale of that. I've been spending time watching so-and-so. I wonder what they look like naked, if that makes any sense.
It does, and that's where the whole just curiosity and bordering on obsession with,
because you can't do anything about it. I mean, the person who's doing the videos, they're from the safety of their own home, so
thankfully.
they're of course there's this.
It's a very safe way to function.
Sure,
if you're gonna do it.
Sure. So it's almost I don't know. Fuck. Why did we pick the short episode to really get into some gritty shit?
Interesting subjects right now. All right, guys, we're all actors to some extent or another. What's your minimum pay in order to get it done?
Listen, I'll go full nude, but I need the Kangol on my privates.
Oh Lordy.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
That's a good show. We're talking about OnlyFans. This is the best one we've had in a while.
Yeah. Can you tell there's a lot of news to talk about?
Right.
So are we done? Is there anything left?
I did see a kind of interesting anime movie today because I couldn't get in to see In the Heights. If anyone's into anime and there's like special screenings nearby you, Children of the Sea. It's incredibly odd and unique, but so beautifully animated. Like sometimes it's hand drawn, sometimes it's CG. Like they mix and match it, and there's this one long tracking shot as this girl's running down these streets as she's hand drawn, running through a 3D environment, and like the camera's like pulling back, and so it's actually doing something really interesting with the cinematography within like this animated world. But then the last 20 to 30 minutes go hardcore Akira on themselves, if that means anything to you, or hardcore Evangelion, more Evangelion than Kira, if you know what Evangelion is. Basically what I'm saying is it goes from being a cute but confusing story that doesn't feel like it's going anywhere to suddenly, oh god, the creation of the universe and the death and beginning of everything at once, and is this meaningful or really weird? I can't tell, but it's visually beautiful.
I thought you were going to say like body horror, because I know the end of Akira very well, unfortunately, and how things go with that. But
there's a smidge of body horror. It's not quite that, but it's more just the existentialness of how it gets at some points. It's if you're down for something trippy and is playing near you, I recommend it. I don't know if you'll like it, but I recommend it.
It looks like it's on Netflix, actually. Interesting.
Oh, perfect. There it is. Okay, yeah, boom.
Chauncey, what do you got coming up?
Well, I have Loki. My brother and I, we did WandaVision, so now we're doing Loki. If anyone's watching that, and I got some upcoming. There's some films coming out. I have to look at my list. I have a second channel I'm gonna start soon. That is a little bit more into what
If you call it an OnlyFans, so help me.
No, that was the reason why I brought this up, guys. Now you know it is this that's happening now. It leans more into my love for like weird history and stuff. That I've been really wanting to get to. And I've been kind of having this issue where I'm like, do I just keep doing it on the same channel? But like, I really don't want to people are there for my movie reviews and my TV stuff. Yep. I don't want to suddenly be like, here's the history of this weird shit that I like to talk about. Like, I don't want to do that and throw people off. So I am starting something called Getting Weird with Chauncey K. Yeah. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll start putting stuff out on that channel. So I'll let people know about the link to that if they want to go on that weird journey with me on weird stuff. Guys are hotter when they have weird shit to talk about, guys. So if you want to know weird stuff, you should watch my video. So you're more attractive.
Guys are hotter?
Yeah, guys are hotter. If you talk to a person and they just want to bring up the latest episode of something, that's not as interesting as opposed to someone saying, they used to collect human skeletons and give it to someone for money in the 1800s. I find that way more interesting of a conversation.
Yeah,
I am an expert.
You're a horror girl.
So I'm telling you.
Wait. You're into the horror community.
Listen, let me plug my channel.
All right, I'm sorry.
Let me entice people to why they should watch the videos. Okay.
Yes.
Here's your incentive. You're hotter if you know weird shit. So let me help you.
Yeah, draw that base. There you go. Draw that base.
Yeah, and I'm going to second that notion though, because I mean, whether they're somebody you're attracted to or whether just somebody you want to be like friends with or whatever, somebody you're interested in any degree, if they're a little more off center, if they have more to talk to you about than like, hey, I'm binging Friends or The Office or whatever. Yeah. If they're into obscure cinema, or like a strange band you've never heard of, and you're like, wow, that's nothing I would have thought you would be into. It's our uniqueness that makes us far more interesting.
Absolutely.
You'll always be the popular person at the party. You know, when
Oh,
you know
sure.
weird, obscure facts, you are always one of the popular people at the, or the obnoxious person, depending on how
Yeah.
much you're throwing at everybody.
Yeah.
But
And you'll also scare some people away too. But
Exactly.
there's kind of a fun in that as well. So.
Oh, fuck. Here he goes about Hitler's paintings again. Fuck.
And yet, I was just watching an interesting World War II related movie. That's the only new thing. Because PP and I have been trying to plan this like VOD stuff that we've watched recently.
Rent and rant.
Rent and rant. And I actually watched another one that's going to jump on the docket, and it's called American Trader: The Story of
I watched that.
Sally. I actually, it was. I thought it was going to kind of suck, but
Hold those thoughts. Yeah, hold those thoughts. I watched it.
That you've watched it, I'm going to back off. Pacino was in it more than I thought he was going to be, so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
He's hamming it up.
Access Sally about the lawyer.
Yeah, truly right. But it was interesting. So I hope we get to that at some time soon.
Yeah. That will. So guys, that won't be live. It'll appear live, but I'm going to put production behind it, so there'll be like video clips and stuff. So just be on the lookout. Fuego and I will be talking about stuff that is on VOD. As for movie theaters, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard releases tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it is coming out.
You know,
and speaking of runtime, I just watched that original one last night because I'd never seen it, and I was like, the sequel looks fun enough. I guess I'll check out the first one. That movie's 2 hours, and it had no business being 2 hours. It rags. I mean, but the chemistry between Samuel L. Jackson and Van Wilder is it's golden and so fun, and it's got some very amusing moments. I'm hoping, because from what I've seen friends say, it's goofier and doesn't take itself as seriously as the previous one. And if that's the case, I'm totally all for it. So I'm definitely seeing that this week.
And for the weekend, the big release of the weekend is Crack House of the Dead.
I saw that on Fandango. I was like, what is this?
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
So the road's wide open this week for Fast 9 to come next week.
The road.
Road driving. Except they don't drive on roads anymore. Now they drive on submarines and buildings.
In space.
And pigs in space.
Yes, Jake. Fuego, you did watch Killing of Two Lovers, yes?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. That movie kind of messed with me.
We might destroy a good half an hour talking about that alone because, yeah.
And I also watched The Amusement Park. Did any of you guys watch the George Romero on Shudder?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to, but I feel like it might be depressing to me. Like the way they treat older people. I'm like, I don't want to.
It upset me when I watched it last night. I did a little double feature and I watched that.
What do you mean the way they treat older people?
It's like a PSA about insensitivity to the elderly and just not caring for them properly, and how as an institution and as a government, we just are not set up for them to have any sort of enjoyability at the end of their lives unless there's built-in money that they have or family members or whatever. Otherwise, they're just cast aside. And it's a tough watch. It really is. And Romero made it in 1973, I think, and it just never got released because of the subject matter, and it's less than an hour, so it's like it's on Shudder now, and
it was made in 1973, such a long time ago. Thank God America fixed itself.
I know, right? Yeah. We're so much better. Isn't it great that we're all such better people?
Fuck. I love how many movies are like, listen, America's fucked, and America's like, don't, we're all fine. Here, have a gun.
Well, did you hear they're giving out guns for COVID shots?
What?
Shots on states.
Yeah, they are
shots?
guns and trucks, right? Pickup trucks.
Oh my God, the trucks too.
Are they doing any screening?
I have no idea. I don't even.
I would doubt it. I mean, they don't screen anybody at a gun show here in Arizona. If you purchase a firearm at a gun show, as opposed to with a dealer, you have no background check involved. You can just buy whatever.
I am currently on 4 mental medications. I have no business touching a gun. I should not be able to walk into a facility that they're giving vaccines and then just hand me a gun. That's insane.
Yeah, I always think of Homer
American
Simpson.
or not?
Well,
That's not
yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just doing my stupid little joke, but Homer Simpson, the episode where he wants to buy the gun, he goes in and they're like, well, there's a 10-day wait period. And he's like, but I'm mad now. Like, oh my God.
Wow, right?
It's the truth, though. You know? That's what's so bad about it.
So one last thing, and this is something I will be doing. So first of all, I'm actually going to have content this week. Two things. Rick and Morty season 5 premieres on the 20th. On the 19th, I will have my top 5 episodes of seasons 1 through 4. That is produced, so enjoy that. And secondly, I will be doing a stream on Twitch, kind of relevant to what we were talking about earlier, about hot tub streamers on Twitch, because me and a group of others almost witnessed a hot tub streamer die. A young lady was streaming from, I want to say it looked like a bathtub. It didn't look like a hot tub. It might have been like it was in a bathroom.
Big bathtub.
Yeah. And she was sweaty from being in the water. So what she did was stood up and took a hairdryer and started cooling herself off with a plugged-in hairdryer, and the chat exploded telling her to get that away, get that away, get that away. And she said, relax, guys, the air is cool. And that's something I will expand on. You know, Twitch might have a problem at some point if somebody decides that, hey, I'll be all right just doing a hot tub stream and I'll drop my toaster by accident. And then that person's family will go ahead and sue Twitch because they need to have water in their house just to do these stupid bikini streams.
Wow.
Well, I'm sure there's a naivety. She's like, hey, if it drops in, turns into a time machine, and I'll be back with Cusack in the 80s, and, you know, we'll have some fun, so it'll be great.
I always knew those documentaries.
Dice says, personally, I don't like the idea of electronics near water, much less a fucking blow dryer. Yeah. It'll be a fun one. I don't know how to put it. I'd love to talk to her.
Are high. Oh, sorry.
She was drunk. She was definitely drunk. There's like I don't want to, like, I'm not trying to make fun of her. I'd like to understand why she thought that, you know, because everybody was making fun of her in the chat, and she's like, I'll be fine. It's cold air, and then I got myself booted because I said, yeah, no, guys, I'll be fine. This seat is cushiony, so when I wrap my car around the tree, it'll be fine. Then I got banned. So, something fun before we go, guys.
Yeah.
Anybody? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, thinking on the fly. Dr. Jack Kevorkian's home remedies. You know, throw some of those Christmas lights in your bathtub. You'll be all right.
All right.